Hello there, people. Recently, the fan on my new laptop's GPU started screaming. I imagine it was the bearing from my knowledge of larger bearings. Anyway, that led me to pursue other games instead of making videos. And let me say, between playing World of Warcraft in the early 2000s, joining the Navy, having kids, and finally playing Skyrim for 1,000,000 hours over the last 4 years, I've missed a lot of games. Not to say I didn't play some highlights, but I do have a backlog a mile long. So I decided I was going to sometimes take a break from Skyrim and make videos about some of those games as I play them. It'll be more overview, surface level review and commentary like I did with Daggerfall Unity. But that seems to be what's popular these days. I might also do this with Skyrim mods. First of all, how I track my games and how I built a gigantic backlog over the last decade or so. Groovy.com. It's like Goodreads, but for games. Also, for those of you who don't read or track the books that you read, you degenerates, Goodreads is a tool to track the books you read. I figure as long as the books I've read exceeds the games I've played, I can still consider myself an intellectual. So anyway, Groovy naturally groups games into played, playing, wishlist, and backlog. The first two are obvious. Games I've either beaten or played enough and am sick of now. Games I'm currently in the middle of and plan to go back to. And then I use wishlist for games I don't currently own or have easy access to, and backlog for games that I do currently own and have access to. I also added the additional games I'm never going to play and watched videos instead because they just look that horrible.
You've killed me!
Good.
It also has this handy tell me what to play function that I almost always ignore when I use it. While I was away, I played Horizon Forbidden West, Wizardry Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord Remake, Cubic Odyssey demo, and a few more. And by played, I mean enough for a played checkmark in my book. I'd played the first Horizon game a few years ago, had Horizon Forbidden West sitting around with the PS5 I barely play, and I thought, why not? Aloy is a blank slate hero focused on ranged attacks. The melee combat is kinda garbage. The dodge doesn't seem to give me many iframes, and a lot of it is rather gamey. You know what I mean? When there's a very specific way of solving a puzzle and you can't get around that way. This is especially true in a lot of the jumping puzzles and climbing puzzles, where you've got to hit this specific thing or pull this thing with your pullcaster and climb up a specific way. They give you a paraglider like in the new Zelda games, but it's not like you can use it to skip over things. Besides all that though, I gotta say I generally enjoyed the experience. It had a good story. And I'm not a completionist by any means. I did the main quest, the DLC, and enough side content to feel satisfied and dropped it. Wizardry Proving Grounds of the Mad Overlord Remake. This is a remake of the original legendary Wizardry game from 1981. As somebody who's played Wizardry 7 and 8 and a big fan of old school blobber dungeon crawlers, I thought a new coat of paint, new music, and a few quality of life upgrades would make this game playable. Boy was I wrong. It had its high points, but no. I played it probably 15 hours, got through the first few levels, and then hit a hard wall. My party wiped. The place where they wiped has a huge group of enemies, like 15. And the way the encounters work in Wizardry is when you step on a square, in old school RPG fashion, you pop into a battle screen. Each of these squares in this room has 10 to 15 enemies. Sorry, I don't have any footage of that actual combat. Okay, I died, it's fine. In a normal RPG, you'd go back to your save point. Not Wizardry 1. In fact, you as the player, some sort of disembodied entity, I guess, just goes back to town. I mean, are you the Pokemon trainer of these guys? Wizard, I choose you.
I summon the Dark Magician! The Dark Magician? Ah! Oh no!
You have to create a new party of characters, or hopefully you had some other PCs in the wings, or hire some from the tavern. And then you have the task of venturing down into the dungeon to rescue your party. Having to create an entire new party sucks because you have to do all the grinding again. Fortunately, at the tavern you can hire heroes that are equivalent to the highest level heroes that you had. You may or may not have money to actually do this though. You may or may not have money to actually revive your people once you get them back to town. Yeah, when you get to your characters, you have to disband your party and have half of your party as the corpses of your old characters and just drag them back to town piecemeal style. I wouldn't know. That's coming up. So I formed a new party and ventured down to try and kill those guys and get my A team back, which at this point would end up being a B team since I leveled higher than before. I thought, hey, I'd be smarter this time and more prepared, get a better party layout. I get there and remember, these guys are strong, but that's not exactly why I wiped. It's because the group of 10 to 15 has ninjas who can instantly kill you. And they did. Again. Let me tell you, out of spite, I made a third party and grinded against Murphy's Ghost for hours with my new party. This time I brought 2 mages and a bishop so I could fireball their asses right out of the gate. And the ninjas. Since I have 6 members of my party and there's always 2 ninjas, it takes them exactly 3 rounds to kill me. You know, by way of math, since their insta-kill always works, even though the player character's ninja's version does not always work. They still got me. If you judge it by the standards of its time, it'd be phenomenal, but as a modern RPG, I cannot bring myself to play this anymore. Next, Cubic Odyssey demo. This game, still in demo form, with the planned release of this year, is a fucking blast. Honestly, if you've ever played Minecraft, funny story, when I was describing this game to one of my work friends, they were like, no, I have never played Minecraft. Jesus, man. Anyway, so if you're aware of Minecraft and No Man's Sky, it's like the two of them had a baby. Like Minecraft, you're looking for minerals, materials to get higher up in the tech tree, but instead of working your way up to diamond equipment, you're looking for silicon and aluminum, upgrading your probe, building different refiners, trading with space villagers. Also in the full game, you'll be able to go to different planets. In the demo, as soon as you reach the part where you fix your ship and leave the planet, the demo ends. I actually loaded a save, went back and played some more. And these different planets feel like they might be different. This is one of the biggest problems with No Man's Sky after they finished fixing everything else. And I guess Starfield? Eventually a quadrillion planet starts to feel the same if you don't have anything that's handcrafted. You can only mix up elements so many times with procedural generation. And I mean, Minecraft seemed to nail it. I don't know why No Man's Sky and Starfield couldn't. That being said, when I played No Man's Sky, it was fully patched, and I built a series of factories that did the entire tech tree for me and made me a billionaire. And then I got bored after I'd finished the game. If only in real life, billionaires, once they got $1 billion, just got declared winners of the game and just kind of left. Got to respawn and go play a different game. And all the money just trickles back down to us. There's your trickle-down economics. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the full release of Cubic Odyssey. It's supposed to be 2025 this year. So I did a poll on the channel and asked what I should play next. So of course I decided to play Hardspace Shipbreaker. To be honest, I downloaded Outward. I had gotten it on sale for pennies way back, which is why I put it on the poll. All the stuff I've been playing has been free or nearly free in the past few years. Outward immediately put me off because it's an adventure game that doesn't have the ability to jump. I know, I played Dark Souls 1 through 3, get off my back. I'm sure it's got its merits. I'll go back to my man Jimbo someday. I'll give you a quick rundown of the other things I looked at and might do videos about later. In Hardspace Shipbreaker, your job is to break ships. Duh. And sort the components into the right space to be processed correctly. You're a non-union wage slave, and they're not subtle about how it's an allegory of the current plight of the working class. Pretty heavy-handed. I did have a lot of fun taking apart thrusters, nuclear reactors. The funny thing is they start to melt down if you remove them from their cooling system. Maybe it's a rookie move or an absolute genius one, but I started just deconstructing the ship around them and putting the reactor and the whole reactor coolant system into the bin together. And I died many times. In fact, that's one of the core premises of the game. You get a clone back of when you start work there. You owe the company $1.6 billion, and every time you refill your gauges, every time you start your shift and rent all the gear you need, anytime you die and get a new backup copy, they charge you. Haven't actually finished it yet, but I'll let you know. Some not safe for work stuff ahead, blurred obviously. Wiccan Island demo is basically if you took a heavily Lover's Lab modded Skyrim and set it on an island. Like the devs definitely played some Sex Lab Skyrim before they were inspired to make this game. It's got the basic bones of Skyrim and the quest system, and it's got the extra bones of stuff like race menu and Skyrim's many defeat mods. It's unfinished, and I would suggest a pass for now. I mean, especially if you're not into that kind of game. House party is, well, you're invited to a house party. Have fun with it. It's like one of those cheesy 90s and early 2000s teen party movies like Can't Hardly Wait, Not Another Teen Movie, Superbad, Dazed and Confused. Surprisingly, you can play as male or female, so it's not assuming a male audience, which I like. What's the object of this game? I don't know, just have fun. There is explicit sex, but it's not about that. It's actually a pretty funny game.
How's it going, lady dude? I'm so drunk, bruh.
You know, a good way to get over a stub toe is to take any basic painkiller and crush them up into a fine powder. Mix that with any horse tranquilizer you may have laying around, then snort that powder through a rolled up bill.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Because I hate it here. Everyone is drunk and touchy and feely, and I just want to go to Game Grumps Live. And so horny.
I also worked at a Blockbuster, and I stole shit all the time.
You should really get that wiring checked out. Does it always take you that long to come?
One more, and I've got to keep the in-game sound on for this one because it's a rhythm-based action game where you control the direction of gravity. It's called Metro Gravity. Mostly puzzles, a few bosses, 5 when the full release happens, a cute pixely style, and a caked-up female protagonist. What's not to like? Look at her tapping her little foot. Well, she looks like she's having a good time, just vibing. So anyway, that's all for today. Give me more suggestions down in the comments. My favorites are RPGs, whether action, turn-based, JRPGs, and adventure games. The obscurer, the better. I did make a Dragonborn voiceover for Circuit, just haven't released it on Nexus yet. As always, more Skyrim to come. So long, and thanks for watching.